Yeah. Tell.
Sir, in the morning, I have faced same problem. If it is not visible to you, I request you just like once you cut that and again you just join. It was visible to you. Same problem I was facing in the morning class, sir.
Okay. 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 It happens. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Who gave me the
Uh,
suggestion? Mahendra.
Sir
Okay.
Mr. Mahendra Sharma.
Mahendra Sharma. Okay, Mahendra. I am leaving. Then I am again.
Yes, sir. Same problem I was facing. That's why I think.
Can we ask doubts in between?
Be careful.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Mahendra. It came. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
You raise your hands. Don't. Yeah. You raise your hands. Then at the end, just note down Rishabh Soni. Put slide number. Put slide
Yes, sir.
number.
Sir, your voice is cutting, sir. Sir, sir, you're not audible, sir.
Insert. You have you
Sir,
inserted slide number. Rishabh.
sir, sir, I can't hear you. You're not audible, sir. The voice is chopping, sir.
I am not audible. I am. Oh,
No, for us it is audible. Sir.
I am audible. I'm
Yeah, yes,
audible.
yes, sir. Now
Yes,
you
sir.
are audible.
Now, yeah, okay. Rishabh Soni, you
Yes, sir.
insert slide number.
Yes, sir. Sir, it is slide. Sir, I
So
don't.
now you're not audible.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
We can make a note of it. In this slide, I have a doubt. In this slide, I have a doubt.
Sir, should I start?
Yeah, yeah. You inserted slide number.
Sir, I'm right now at slide number 1.
Nana, did you insert the slide number or not?
Sir,
Did you
I.
insert?
Sir, insert where, sir?
That you should tell me or I should tell you. I don't know. It is there in the top, I think. Somewhere insert.
Yes, sir, insert.
Then slide number. Right side, chalo. Insert slide number. Right side. हाँ. वहीं पर कहाँ
Yes,
पर
sir.
है देखो.
Yes, sir.
Slide number, बाबू. Slide number.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is it.
कहाँ पर? Slide number, बाबू.
In the rightmost side, Rishabh, in the right side.
Rightmost. नहीं, rightmost नहीं है. Somewhere. हाँ. Should have done
From
Okay,
it.
right side
that is near
Last
word
seventh
art,
option
date
in
and time.
top.
Listen, in
Last
the top,
seventh option in the top.
Top.
near word art,
Last
near date and time, then slide number. Word art, you can find word art. Okay, slide number. Yeah. Then
Yes.
click at the slide number.
Ah.
Select the slide number. No, just
Put in the right
below.
corner.
Select the slide
Right
number
corner. Right
and then
corner
apply
में.
to all. Yeah.
Yeah. ये सब धीरे धीरे सीखोगे.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. धीरे धीरे मैं ही सिखाता हूँ. I am the person I want. Presentation brings confidence.
Yes, sir.
क्योंकि सारे दोस्त बोलेंगे कि यहाँ पर तुम छोड़ दिया है, यहाँ पर छोड़ दिया है, अंद्रीला पढ़ के आई है. So she will definitely give you blows. So after getting blows, you will be perfect. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Everybody is free to ask question and identify what he should have told, what he has missed. Okay. This is the first presentation. Okay. Let's start.
Yes, sir. So the topic was the architecture of virtual machine. So here we will discuss about the firstly we will discuss about what is virtual machine. what is the what are the general types, means the basic types of virtual machine. Then we'll come forward to virtual machine architecture. We will discuss about the architecture of the virtual machine. Then we will discuss why do we need a virtual machine. uh, why do we actually need a virtual machine. So we'll discuss about that. Then after that we'll discuss about the virtual machine style layered architecture. It is different from the virtual machine architecture. As we have discussed, as we have read in the previous classes, the architecture style, that is the their layered architectural style, defines that the architecture is defined in various layers. Now how those layers will be configured within an architecture will be decided by these two architectures, that is virtual machine style, and that is and another one is the client server style. So we will discuss about that in the last. So first we'll start with, so is it visible, the slide number 2?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
it is visible.
So
Always make maximum 10 number of lines in a slide. Okay, maximum 10 number of slides. Yeah, you have
So
done it. Fine, fine. And
Yes, sir.
बड़ी वाला जो ऊपर वाला paragraph little bit bigger है,
Yes, sir.
छोटा करने में प्रयास करो. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You will learn slowly. You will learn. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, so the very first topic is what is the virtual machine. Virtual machine, in short, it is a VM, is an emulation of a computer system. It is it in general replicates the computer system on another machine, where these machines use computer architectures to provide the functionality of a physical computer. So we'll use the computer architectures in order to provide the functionality of a physical computer on another computer system that is available to us. The physical device on which virtual machines work is known as host. The basic device on which we will run the virtual machine will be regarded as a host, whereas the virtual machine itself are known as guests, because they will be acting upon someone. Some computer system, though, so they will be a guest on that system, so they will be called a host. A single host can have multiple number of guests, just like that. As on a single hardware architecture, we can have various virtual machines over it as a guest. So it is a software implementation of a machine, in general a computer, that executes program like a physical machine. It will act for the upper layer, that is the application which will perform on that. It will act as a physical layer for them. However, the physical layer is actually beneath the virtual machine itself. So the next is a virtual machine provides an interface identical to the underlying bare hardware. That was discussed in the previous point, that it will act as a bare hardware for the upper applications that will run on the virtual machine. So coming next to the slide number 3, is it visible? Slide number 3.
Yes. Go ahead.
Slide number
3 तुमने कहाँ लिखा? Where did you write? I am not able to see कहाँ 3 तुम्हारी आ रही है.
Slides inserted slide number and order. No.
Anyway, take लो. सीधा
Yes, sir.
you make the changes accordingly. Your insert
Yes, sir.
slides properly. Okay.
Yes, I have done that
And
already. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and make it bold so that everybody can see it
Yes, sir.
properly. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, Rishabh. Yeah.
Yes, sir. In the slide number 3, so while discussing about the virtual machine, we have to discuss about what is actually an abstraction and what is virtualization. These are two different concepts, and in virtual machine, we will see that we use both abstraction and virtualization. So the basics there we can see the virtualization and abstraction of a disk. So here the A part shows the abstraction in a hard disk. So hard disk it's a hardware component. It has disk over it. It has a pivot over it, magnetic disk and pivot over. It's the hardware. But while we save our contents in the hard disk itself, we don't know that it is going on a magnetic. It is writing over it. It is overwriting over it. We see a simple folder. We just copy that and save that. We just download that and save that there. So this is called abstraction. The original implementation is hidden from the user. So it is made convenient for us to predict how the saving process is done, while the original implementation is hidden from the user. Whereas the virtualization itself acts as a hard disk. It itself provides a different interface like of thing, that like in abstraction the implementation is hidden, while in the virtualization the whole disk will be available in like in this case it is showing in two hard disks. It is divided into two hard disks, while as the layers above these two hard disks will see those hard disks as the main hard disk for them. They will see these two hard disks as the main hard disk for them, while the original hard disk is beneath that. So the virtualization in general provides a different interface or different resources at the same abstraction level. Abstraction level is same as that we see in the diagram A. So abstraction provides a simplified interface to underlying resources, and virtualization provides a different interface or different resources at the same abstraction level. So coming on to the next, we have to have a knowledge about the abstraction of virtualization for describing virtual machines, because on every layers in the virtual machine there is an abstraction level, and each level itself hides the information of its beneath layer, the layer beneath it and the layer above it. So coming on to the next slide, that is slide number 4. If you can see it, is it visible? I think it's visible.
It's fine.
So coming on to the next slide, it shows the simple computer system architecture. So why we are discussing computer system architecture here? Because it shows where the virtual machine can be implemented. It is the where virtual machine in general are implemented. The computer system architecture is itself divided into layers, where at the lowest the middle the lower half of the part, the architecture is as is hardware, and the above half is the software. So it is mainly divided into two parts: architecture, that is hardware, and software. And beneath and under hardware, it is then converted into different layers, like the main memory. Main memory we use it is like a physical we use physical implementation over there, whereas the memory translation depicts that the whatever instructions that is passed by the operating system, it will be the operating system will pass the logical address, whereas the memory we are going to access will be at physical address. So the memory translation here occurs at this place. So it is above that main memory layer. Similar way, system interconnect bus, the bus through which the signals will pass through the IO devices and networking devices, is above the IO devices and networking devices itself. So above that, the executional hardwares like are the main hardwares which will be there in our system. Above that hardware layer, we will have operating system layer. Above operating system, we will have libraries, and then we will have application programs which will use libraries and in general pass on the instructions to operating system, which will in turn implement those instructions on the hardware. So the virtual machine can be implemented over these three layers, where it is described as the API, ABI, and ISA. The main ISA, which is the instruction set architecture, is in general on the border of software and hardware implementation layer. So the ISA instruction set architecture, I will say example that for example we have a hardware, a 32-bit architecture. A 32-bit architecture hardware, that is a microprocessor which is a 32-bit architecture, will use all the instruction set which will be in the 32-bit. So we will have to convert all our other instructions that will be 8-bit, 16-bit, or 64-bit. We have to convert that for the 32-bit architecture, so that hardware can execute that. So those translations will be done by operating system, because above operating system it can have any instruction, but the hardware will run only on 32-bit. Similarly, so it is the layer where we can actually implement a virtual machine. Imagine we have to implement a virtual machine and we have to execute let us take 64-bit architecture instructions. So but our hardware is capable of only 32-bit architecture. So that virtual machine will convert those 64-bit architecture instructions into 32-bit architecture instructions. So for the hardware, so it adds a layer in between the executional hardware and the operating system, So it provides a virtual environment for above applications that can use 64-bit instruction set, but on the lower part, the actual implementation is done on the 32-bit. Similarly, the application binary interface, it is between the libraries and the operating system itself. So the API gives a program access to the hardware resources and services available in a system through ISA interface. So the ISA interface itself is the third and the fourth. So the ISA itself is the instruction set architecture available in operating system. So libraries will all the instructions that has to be passed for the hardware, library will pass it through the operating system using ISA. So API does not include system instructions. System instruction API cannot do, but it can have some user instructions which will be executed by the ISA on the operating system level, and then it will come down to hardware. Rather, the API does not include system instructions. Rather, all applications indirectly by invoking the OS services. It will invoke the OS services via system call interface. In order to execute its instructions over the hardware. And then the third comes the API level, the application programming interface level. So the API gives access to the hardware resources and services available in system through ISA interface, that is interface 4 implemented with high level languages and library calls at the interface 1, that is interface 1 between libraries and application program. So application program will in general generate instructions that will be handled by libraries. Then libraries will convert the instructions and pass it on to operating system. Then operating system will pass on those instructions to the hardware. So application programming interface shows that the application program are not directly interacting with the hardware. It is interacting with throughout the layers from libraries, coming down from libraries to operating system and then to the hardware only. So so any system calls are usually performed through the libraries. So this is the basic computer system architecture, which shows where the VMs can be implemented or where the VMs are implemented throughout in the architecture of a computer. Coming down to the next, the types of VM. It is in general there are two types: the process virtual machines and system virtual machine. Why we dividing in those in virtual process virtual machine and system virtual machine? Because we for a given machine we have a process perspective, that is the point of view from the process and from the system side of the machine. Therefore we have two types of virtual machine, from the process virtual machine and system virtual machine, that is from the point of view of the process and point of view of the system only. The next we're coming down to the process virtual machines. Process VM, the process virtual machine, is a virtual platform that executes an individual process. So it will execute an individual process. This type of VM exists solely to support the process. This VM will solely support the process. It will operate only for a given process. The main job of this VM is to only support the particular process for which it is designed. It is created when the process is created and terminates when the process terminates. So whenever we use it comes in the foreground when a process is created and terminates. It goes in the background when the process terminates itself. The process or system that runs on a VM is a guest. As we all know that the process or system that runs on a VM is a guest, while the underlying platform that supports the VM is a host. So on which the VM will be installed will be a host. The virtualizing software that implements the process VM, the software which will in general virtualize for the process VM is often termed as the runtime or short form for runtime software. Like for example, take Java Virtual Machine. Java Virtual Machine we sometimes say that as a runtime software, because it will in general execute the bytecode. It will convert those bytecodes into assembly language to be performed in the operating system beneath it. So Java Virtual Machine is implemented over the OS. We install Java Virtual Machine over the OS. So Java Virtual Machine itself a process virtual machine. It's an example of process virtual machine. So in a process VM, the virtualizing software is at the ABI or API level at top of hardware or software combination. So in this thing, the process virtual machine can be implemented here in the interface number 1 and interface number 2, that is the API and ABI level interface. So virtual machines can be implemented over the operating system. These process virtual machines will be implemented over the operating system. It can be implemented in between libraries and operating system, or application program and libraries. So in a process VM, the virtualizing software is at ABI or API level at top of hardware and software combination. For example, a Java virtual machine, just like the Java virtual machine itself, Java virtual machine is a platform dependent, which will, but the bytecode is platform independent. We know that Java virtual machine itself is a platform dependent, which will be installed for the particular OS, but the bytecode itself is a platform independent thing. Bytecode then runs over the Java virtual machine. The Java virtual machines itself converts those bytecodes for the particular hardware or particular machine beneath it, whether it will be Linux, Unix, or Windows, or anything else. Coming down to system virtual machine. So in contrast to process virtual machine, a system virtual machine provides a complete persistent system environment that supports an operating system along with its user processes. So system VM itself a complete environment. It provides all the facilities that our operating system can provide to its processes. All those functions or all those facilities will be provided by this system VM for those processes, just like an environment. Just like an environment provides everything from air to food, everything that is required for the livelihood. It will just like that. A system VM will provide everything that an actual operating system can provide to its processes. It provides the guest operating system with access to virtual hardware resources, including networking, I/O, perhaps a graphical user interface along with a processor and memory. So the system virtual machine itself can provide functionalities to other operating systems, so such that we can install other operating systems over this virtual machine, which can use the hardware beneath this virtual machine. In general, the system VMs are implemented on the boundary of software and hardware, as we seen in the computer architecture. These are implemented beneath the operating system and above the hardware layer. So it can support many other operating systems, which in general cannot or can directly interact with the hardware. So the virtualizing software in a system VM is typically referred as a virtual machine monitor. So the VM, it is also known as hypervisor. If you have studied earlier, it is also known as hypervisor. Above hypervisors, we can implement many virtual machines, and above that virtual machine, we can implement many of the OSs. So it is that only virtual machine monitor. In a system VM, the virtualizing software is between the host hardware machine and the guest software. As we have discussed, the host hardware and the guest software, it is in between that, the VMM. The VMM emulates the hardware ISA so that the guest software can potentially execute a different ISA from the one implemented on the host. Similarly, if we see in this picture, if the execution hardware supports 32-bit architecture, if I implement a VMM over this layer in between the software and executional hardware, and then I apply softwares above that, which can have any type of ISA architecture, and then that VMM will come to, or that virtual machine will convert those ISA instructions of the architecture, converted that to the hardware. So this comes in a very handy, so such that we can implement different architecture instructions on a different architecture instruction hardware. For example, VMware. VMware is an example of system architecture. VMware provides an environment for different software processes. So coming down to the next, it shows in general process and system VMs. So the A part above this line, this is A. The above A shows the process VM. How does the virtualization performs or the layers in the architecture of a process VM, and the beneath this line shows the B part, that is the system VM, and it shows the different layers in a system VM and how a system VM performs at the user level. So in a process VM, virtualizing software translates a set of OS and user level instructions composing one platform to those of another. So the platform itself, it's a hardware. the platform itself is a hardware. Above that we have a OS. Then we have a virtualizing software. The virtualizing software itself a process VM we have. The application process can run anything on that, regardless of the architecture of a hardware, whether the hardware or the OS will support that or not. The virtualizing software will help those applications in general to convert those instructions in order to interact with the OS and the hardware. So the virtualizing software will convert those instructions of the process for the OS and the hardware. So in general, the process virtual machine. So how does the application looks this at? So application don't know what is the hardware beneath it. Application knows only the process virtual machine, and it knows process knows that it can execute its instruction. The process itself, application process itself doesn't know what hardware it is going to run on. If an application process instructs the process virtual machine for a 64-bit architectured instruction set, so the application process will think that beneath its layer, the hardware itself is a 64-bit architectured hardware. But process virtual machine itself knows that no, it is not a 64-bit architectured hardware. It is a 32-bit architecture. But the application process doesn't know that. It will think that it is a 64-bit architectured instruction hardware. Similarly to the system VM, the system VM, the virtualizing software, that is a VMM or the hypervisor itself is implemented over the hardware, just above the hardware and beneath the OS layer. So it allows for different OS to be performed over it, regardless of the hardware, regardless of the microprocessor, regardless of the architecture for which the hardware runs, regardless of the instruction set of a hardware. So we can have many OS above the virtualizing software, because the OS, those different OS will think that their instruction will be compatible with the hardware, because they can only see the virtualizing software beneath it. But the actual hardware is
Reserve little bit brief you make. Don't go deep into this hardware software instruction. Rather focus on the layered concept. Layered. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, our main focus is architecture part, okay, not in the hardware instruction, all this. How the architecture we want to design for the virtual machine, software architecture, okay?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, all these things will take a long time. So, and your good friend will not get any opportunity to talk. So try to finish early, okay? Try to finish.
Yes, sir.
He's waiting for you. When you will close, you will start. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you skip this hardware instruction, all these things. So come to the layered part. Layered.
Yes, sir.
Layered. Okay. Go ahead. This is the first class, so you will slowly learn. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So it shows the layered. So it is the virtual machine architecture. The A part shows the non-virtual machine, and the B part shows the virtual machine architecture. So we can see that there are many different layers in between in the virtual machine architecture. That is the hardware layer, then the virtual machine implementation layer, then itself VM machines over the virtual machine implementation layer, then the kernels of the OS, then above that. So these all are in the layers one by one. So the processes will itself interact with the kernel beneath it. It will not directly interact with the VM. So for the processes, the service provider itself is a kernel. So process will itself interact with the kernel. So kernel should have an interface that can interact with the process, and should have an interface that can interact with the VM beneath it. So it shows the layered architecture as discussed in the previous classes. It shows the layered architecture that process through interfaces will only interact to kernel only, and kernel will interact to process, will take the inputs from the process and try to execute on the VM only. So the VM will only take input from the kernel. It will not directly take input from the process. So VM will also have an interface in between kernel and the VM. Similarly, in beneath that. So we will have an interface, and these VM on the different layer will run as a component, and the interfaces or the interfaces will try to act as a connector. Try to act as a connector which will have a role in between them. Such like the process can't access everything on the kernel. Through those connectors, the role will be decided that the process will only try to have services that is only designated for the process by the kernel. Similarly, coming down to the next, why do we actually need a virtual machine? So in general we have seen that in various things we can implement various OS over that. We can implement their operating system. We can implement various environments over that. We can have a Linux machine over different architectures. We can have so VM allows multi-system applications to run at the same time. As discussed, we can have many operating systems or many applications that will run for only Linux, but we can run we can have a Windows operating system as well as running on the parallel for that for other applications at the same place over the same hardware without overhead, because the overhead in general that said that if I have a Windows machine, the hardware for that, and if I have a Linux machine, I would have to require another hardware. So the cost for hardware overhead is decreased for those for using a simple software, that is virtual machine. The simulated hardware is a flexible solution to an expanding company server. That is true. For expanding, we can't afford to have multiple hardware. Only we can buy every time hardware for different applications or different background applications. Rather than we would implement a virtual machine over the existing hardware, and will be good. So what are the basic advantage that the virtual machine provides for an IT solution company? That is the operational flexibility. That is, we can operate on any of the hardware, we can operate on any of the software. So it performs operational flexibility. It reduces overhead, just like that. It reduces the cost overhead over the software which will require for the hardware. Then the disaster recovery. As everything is over the virtual machine, the environment is isolated over the hardware. If I have to perform the same thing on a different hardware, I would just install a different virtual machine on that hardware, and all my data will be recovered over there. It is easy to replicate over the different hardwares. It will be easy to replicate. If I have many hardwares, I can just have different virtual machines over that, and I can replicate all my softwares over that. Security due to isolation, as I've said, every environment is isolated from other environments because of virtual machine, and it won't be able to access the variables of the different environment. So it will be isolated, and there will be security over there. Now coming down to the main thing, that is the layered architecture VM style. So as discussed in the previous classes, the layered architecture itself defines that the architecture will be configured in different layers, and how the configuration will be done will be decided on the two bases: whether it will be VM style architecture or VM style layered architecture, or client server based styled architecture. So what does the VM style architecture is? VM style architecture shows that the stack of layers, will be there. On the base layer, there will be a layer above that, there will be a layer above that, and those all layers will be connected to the connectors, and all those layers itself will act as a component for above layer and the below layer. So the services will pass on hierarchically from up down or down to up using the roles in the connectors. So the essence of a layered style is that an architecture is separated into ordered layers. So we'll have an order of layers one by one, where the program within one layer may obtain services from below it. So it is showing that we will go from bottom to up, providing services. The below layer will provide services for the upper layer, and similarly that layer will provide services for its upper layer, and it will go on up to the top for the application layer. So as we have discussed, there is two types of architectures in layer architecture, that is a VM style and a client server style. So coming down for VM style is okay. We have discussed that in the system computer architecture above in the previous slides, that how the the virtual machine layered architecture, how it is there, or from one layer.
Close it. That's all. Yeah. Be brief and try to close it within 2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because these are the 20.
Yes, sir. So this shows the basic architecture where program A. So this diagram is visible to you. There are three different layers: layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3. Program A in layer 1 can access the services provided by layer 2 only. It will not access the services provided by layer 3 only. If it can if it can access the services from layer 3, then it will be treated as non-strict VM style. There is two types of that is a strict VM style and that is a non-strict VM style. In a strict VM style, the layers will interact only with a distinguished layer from which the service has to be taken. Where in non-strict VM style, a layer can communicate with different layers for its services. So we will discuss that. Where is that? Operating systems design provide the most common use of the layer. As we have seen, operating system is the best example of the layered styled architecture. Sir,
Okay. That's all. I'll close it down. Yeah. Anything most important?
yes, sir. The connectors, components, topology, data elements. That's only.
Or you unnecessarily delayed in telling about the hardware instruction. This is important for our point of view. We need these three things: component, connector, and configurator.
Yes, sir.
That's important for our software architecture class. Yeah, you should just wrap up within a minute. That's all. This component connector just summarize.
So, yes, sir.
I think ye will talk, na? Siddharth will be talking on component connector, right, Siddharth?
Yes, sir. Sir, there is a part where I will explain all this, but I have not made any notes. I just wanted to explain with a picture.
Okay. So anything important you feel that you should tell Rishabh?
Yes, sir. Apart from components and connector that Siddharth will tell, there are data elements also. The data elements itself are the parameters passed between the layers. So we will communicate between the layer through connector. That will be procedure calls, and with procedure calls we will pass on the parameters also that will act as a data element. Also, the important part is the topology in VM style. What will be the topology? That will be how the layers will be configured in the VM style. That is a linear for strict VM style, and DAG, that is directed acyclic graph for the loser implementation, or that is a non-strict VM style. Yes, sir. That's it.
That's all. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Some 3-4 questions to Rishabh. Yeah. Thank you, Rishabh. Okay. Anybody wants to ask? Akash. Where is Akash? No, Akash or Akshay? Akshay Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Akshay, how are you happy about the presentation of Rishabh?
It was good.
You have to ask question. Interact with him. Anybody want to ask question? Anybody? Okay. Nobody, then move. Siddharth.
Yes, sir.
Siddharth Rautrai.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You take up. Yeah. You mostly focus on the layered concept, 2-3 slides, then component, then connector. 2-3-4 slides, try to finish up. It is already 5:05. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Is my slide visible?
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Always the numbers you make it in the below. You have done it in the upper part. You just
So
make
this
it
came. Yes, I'll do that. So this came with some design.
There are a lot of designs are there. You can do. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. You have done something. Okay. Fine. Rishabh, you make this numbering next time. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
To know about the architecture, so first let's just give a quick recap with what's virtualization. So like from where this virtualization came. So the important thing is that what is virtualization? It allows users to experience, means we can experience other environments, like we are using some environment and we can also experience other environments. So this is basically virtualization, and as like Rishabh told, that it is a layered implementation where every layers communicate with the layers above or below it, and this is where the concepts of components and connectors, these all introduces. So also, what is the main advantage of this virtualization? That it enhances the system's interoperability, impregnability, and versatility. Now, what does all this means? So this means that virtualization lets a user to work like it lets an user to not stay in a limit. It enables a user like he or she can work on different environments on different machines. So now let's go to next slide. So there is a term known as well-defined interfaces. So what are these well-defined interfaces? Now well-defined interfaces permits development of interacting computer subsystems in a cross-platform mode. So actually well-defined interfaces means developers, when they develop a system or they develop an operating system or anything, so what they do, they try to make the sub components. Like if they're making an operating system, so what they want to do, they want to make an operating system where on same ISA, that is same in like that is like, for example, Intel and AMD designers, they develop microprocessors that implement the Intel IA32 instruction set. Means softwares that a software that has been developed by some company, they can run on both Intel and AMD. So they need to design their components so well. So that is why it's known as well-defined interfaces. Now, what is the problem in the well-defined interfaces? That these well-defined interfaces, they do not execute in cross-design mode. Like a software we want to run on Windows, that cannot be run on Mac OS. So this is where the virtualization comes. This is where we use virtualization. Now again, so also I will skip this part. This is just explaining what is virtualization. This will take time. Now let's come to virtual machine. So what is a virtual machine? Now to implement this virtualization, virtual machine was introduced. So an extra, what is this in layman's term? Now this is an extra software layer that is been added to the machine that allows the support of the desired architecture. Means we're using an architecture A and we want to do work on architecture B. So these middle softwares, they lets us use the virtualization, and these are known as, these middle softwares, these are known as virtual machines. So this allows a virtual machine to circumvent the compatibility and resources constraint of a real machine. Now, what is this resources constraints? Is that in the machine we work, so there are some constraints that when the resource can be accessed and when these resources cannot be accessed. So that is the reason why we cannot use like a different operating systems software in the one we are using. So the virtual machine breaks these constraints and lets us use these resources without any constraints. Now, there is something we need to understand about process and operating system in a machine, in a real machine, not a virtual machine. So process is what? Now we all know that process interacts with input output system through the system calls. A process is generally a process is created in a machine to do some work, and we all have studied what is a process. So it is assigned a address space in the memory, and instructions and resources are also assigned to the process so that it can execute a certain task. We know that this is a process in a machine. Now operating system in a machine, operating system lets us use application softwares, and it is the basic system software where we work in. So this is the operating system and a process that we know that we work in a real machine. Now let's come like how this process and this operating system or system, now how these two concepts are used in virtual machine. So in virtual machine, there are two types, as you know, that is process virtual machine and system virtual machine. So these are like these both process and system virtual machine, these came from these from the concept of real machines process and real machines system or operating system. So also we will discuss two things about this. Like in a process virtual machine, what we will do or what our architecture will be when the ISA is same and ISA is different, and the same case for system virtual machine. Like what do I mean from this, that ISA same or different? We are using a process virtual machine in which we have some ISA from instruction set architecture A, and we want to use some B. So what we'll do, that is when ISA is different, and what we'll do, like we have the same operating system, like we have I have now Mac and I have a Windows, and both supports 86-bit architecture. So that is when ISA is same. So we'll discuss about that when the ISA is same or different, what we'll do. Now let's first come to process virtual machine. So process virtual machine in simple language, these provide ABI or API environments for user applications, and this provides virtual ABI or virtual API. Now what is ABI and API in simple terms? Now, ABI and API both does a single job, that is they provides access to the hardware resources and services those the application program, the softwares we use in our systems. So ABI and API, they both provides the resources and services. But what is the difference between them is ABI, that is application binary interface, they provide these services via system calls. System calls means they use operating system calls to provide these resources, to provide these services to the application programs. And API, they also do the same task, but what they do, they provides those services and resources using high level language library calls. So you can see in this diagram that ABI is a like the number 2. This belongs between the operating system, then libraries and application programs. So they use system calls from the operating system, and APIs, they use library calls. That okay, so this is wind up in what is the process virtual machine, how does they work, and then what do they offer. Like from process virtual machine, what we get. So there is 3 main things we get, that is replication, emulation and optimization. Replication means it replicates an environment to give us an different architecture feel, and then it emulates. Emulation means we are seeing one thing that is means to illusionist. So this provide illusion, emulation. And then the third thing is optimization. Like the machine, the hardware, the resource we use, this optimizes, this helps us optimize those resources so that we can work on virtualization. We can create a virtual environment. Now, let us more understand something more about this process virtual machine. So process virtual machine is a virtual platform that executes an individual process. Now these platforms are created and destroyed. Since they are process virtual machine, and we know that processes are created in a real machine, processes are created and destroyed along with the certain task or certain job that we are currently doing. So accordingly, these process virtual machine also is been created and destroyed along with the process. Now it provides the guest operating system with access to virtual hardware resources, including networking, IO, GUI, memory. It means like in our real system, when we are using virtualization, when we have a virtual machine to it, and we are using process virtual machine, so it will not take up the resources of the real machine. It will manipulate the machine to create some virtual resources, virtual hardware resources that enables us, like by using those virtual machine, we can do networking, we can do input output, and we can manipulate our memory systems and everything. Now there are 3 terms used in this process virtual machine. That the process that runs on a virtual machine is called a guest. That is, for example, we are on a Windows and we are running Macintosh. So that Macintosh that we are running as a, that is known as guest, because that is not on a real, that is not real, that is virtual. So that is a guest.
The time is running
Yes,
out. Okay,
yes,
try
yes,
to cover up on architecture part, component connector part. Okay.
Yes, 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 I'm coming to
that.
that.
These are the most primary focus for our interest. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, and also the platform it is based on is known as host, and then the middle one is known as runtime software. So here comes the architecture part. Like how does this work? So as you can see in this diagram, this is the diagram for a process virtual machine. So first the layer is of hardware layer. Obviously the hardware will sit at the bottom. This is not the hardware layer, and you can make it up. These are this hardware layer, this operating system, that is OS layer, and then this virtualizing software in this application process. All these are layers, and you can think of it as components. These are the components, and the information exchange they do, like if the virtualizing software needs some information from hardware, or it need to access hardware resource, or it need to access OS, or application process need to access something, so they use connectors for this. So they use like some system calls, or like for some resource from access, or these all things, or some event calls. So these are the connectors that is used for the information exchange between these components. So what are these components here? This application process, virtualization software, operating system, hardware, these are the components. So from the diagram, this application process is guest, this virtualization software is a runtime, and this OS and hardware the host part. So to just so how it is been visualized in a total form, that application process sits above the process virtual machine. So process virtual machine is made up of 3 layers, that is virtualization software, OS and hardware. And here hardware is been accessed by both OS and virtualizing software as 2 different components. Now